how to put English on the basketball.
Hello and welcome to another episode of With the English with myself, Sam Oakley, and Mr. Glen Vardy. Glen, how are we?
Not bad, thank you. Episode 7 now,
Right.
going strong. How's your week been?
Yeah, it's been good. Sixers have won, which has been great. You know, when they win, it makes when sport goes well, it's good. And yeah, my Eagles are playing tonight, so I need to get to sleep after this podcast. How's your week been?
Well, I was going to say I don't want to jinx the both of us, but both our respective teams are having good weeks from apart from the odd loss here or there. But yeah, it's been good. I'm still yet to watching the Lakers Houston game. But that's how we're going to start today of talking about LeBron James.
Yes, I
Still at
watched a bit of that. I watched the last 3 minutes of that game, 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah. And what was your opinion on LeBron James in the last quarter?
I said that he did a really good pass, and I thought it was great that he trusts his teammates, you know, to shoot from really far. And Austin Reeves is obviously well known for shooting from pretty much, at the halfway of the court. So it was great that he had trusted in that he was going to be a Steph Curry that night, and he did. So fair play to him.
No, you didn't. You said the exact opposite, and your inner Skip Bayless come out, and it was, why did LeBron do this? Why did LeBron do that? I said he trusted his teammates, and that at least he hit one of his free throws. But I said this. I made a passing comment about this last week that LeBron has so much hatred as part of it, but criticism, and you just did a perfect example of that. The Lakers win the game. He makes an assist. He makes a game-winning free throw, and all you can do is see the negatives in it.
Hey, at the end of the day, no, he did come up. He did come up big. I mean, the way I think what we want to talk about is, he still got 37, right? But like the way he got to the rim.
38. Oh,
yeah,
points wise.
yeah.
You're talking about points. I thought it was age,
Sorry,
but yeah,
yeah.
points
Sorry,
37.
I was going to say, I might have. I wrote that down. I remember seeing it last night, and I was like, did I miss the free throw? But yeah, so like getting to win the free throw, like how easily he got past the defender, got to the rim. Like, it's amazing what he is doing at 37 years old. I don't think there's an
That's the
athlete like that.
positives. That's the positive you should take from it. The fact that we're still saying these things and talking about LeBron James in year 21 at 38, turning 39 next month. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. We said a few weeks back, I think one of my questions to you was about in X's and O's, will LeBron average 20 points per game? I think he's currently running at 22.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's having these big scoring nights of 37, 35. Assists are there, rebound, not score either. He's still having even if his box score is not the best, he's been our best player. And it should be AD's team, but let's not fool ourselves. It's still LeBron's team.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't doubt that for a second. I think with the way that he's performing, you can't say it's anyone else's team. It's meant to be obviously AD's as he's got older, and LeBron's meant to take that back seat, but he's just especially there's not another player like I think Ronaldo's the only other player on the planet. You could argue Messi as well. I know both have now gone to weaker leagues, and that's the thing to take from it. They've had to go to
Exactly.
Whereas,
LeBron's doing it for the best franchise in the league or biggest franchise in the league.
Okay, yeah.
Against the biggest teams in the basketball. He can't play any better teams.
Yes,
Messi,
agreed.
Ronaldo, who you just mentioned there. Ronaldo's gone to Saudi Arabia for money, and it's an awful league.
Yeah.
Messi's gone to America, awful league. It's all marketing purposes. It's funny because LeBron made a callback in a post-game interview the other day about how the narrative around him moving to LA was to make movies. And here he is still winning games. Or being a focal point of winning games at 38, 39.
I think that's a fair thing. I don't dispute at all that he went there to try and win something, and he obviously wants to have that legacy of overtaking Michael, and I don't think he's going to do it personally. But yeah, I think, and I know he's going to probably play for another year or two as well.
I'm going to disagree with you there.
What? Which bit?
LeBron's the GOAT.
I think he needs to win more championships.
But that to win a championship, is there not?
What's that?
There's a lot of factors to winning a championship.
That there is.
Top roster construction,
Yeah.
even the front office of an organization, luck.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the time you went out to the Toronto Raptors. You would have gone through if it didn't bounce on the rim 3 times and go in.
All time.
Now I'm not saying Michael Jordan's been lucky. He's got the dynasty for a reason. He's won 6 things. But as an individual, now what year did he go to Washington?
When he was like 28. Sorry, 38.
Right. So that's similar age now to LeBron, yeah. And what was he doing at Washington? What was he doing at Washington?
Well, he still put up good numbers.
And what are Washington doing?
They weren't doing great, but he still put up the right numbers for a player of that age in that era where you could touch each other up a little bit more than what you can now.
Oh, so you're saying that LeBron gets more whistles?
I'm saying it's a more physical game back then.
Oh, okay.
It takes toll on your body. So, but yeah, I don't think there's a massive issue with denying he's the greatest athlete in NBA history. I will have the greatest of all time from a pure ability. No. He's up there. I mean, he's top 5, probably top 5.
The great thing is, everyone can debate it.
Mm-hmm. Well, some technical issues there when Glen was going off on about LeBron being the GOAT, but
I think it's obviously the connection wanted us to end the debate there that LeBron is the GOAT. So let's move on to someone who's not the GOAT, and that's Draymond Green.
We need to summarize very quickly on that. I said, I agree with you about his age, his ability, blah, blah, blah. And you asked what you did about the Wizards. I obviously edit back what I can. You did not just say that you think he's better than Michael Jordan at the moment before he retires. He needs to do something over the next couple of years. If he does, then I will take back everything I said.
Sorry, the greatest scorer of all time. The greatest scorer of all time. The guy who's in the top 10 for assists, steals, triple doubles, the list goes on. It's not definitive enough to be the best there's ever been.
No, he's in like I say, he's in the top 5, 6. But yeah, we'll debate this all day. Draymond Green will be an easy debate.
We can move on to someone else who's in love with LeBron, like me, Draymond Green. As we know, he's a big LeBron stan too. But he's been in the news again for the wrong reasons as usual. With the wrestling move on Rudy Gobert, which it seems like he was been planning that for a long time.
It was a bit naughty, wasn't it? I don't think you can get away with doing that without expecting a suspension, let alone if you've got previous. So,
but it's the way he did it. It's almost like he's been wanting to do that for ages.
Yeah, there was definitely some hatred. Obviously, you don't know. I mean, he's not come out and said, Rudy said X, Y, and Z to me to make me like in that particular moment, but it did feel it was more than just a on the court scuffle thing. Although,
yeah,
there's been many fights that have led, Malice in the Palace probably didn't, started from, in stands and stuff, but obviously that came from a fan giving abuse as well, and Artest and stuff. But yeah, I don't think it was just a heat at the moment thing. There was something more to it than just I'm going to respond to that. This current situation that's happening on court.
What is wrong with this guy? Like, what is actually wrong with him? In the last
he
12 months, he punched choke holds Rudy Gobert.
mhm,
And the worst thing is, what was the ban? 5 games.
yeah.
I don't believe that's enough for a repeat offender.
Adam Silver's in a tough position though, isn't he? With it, like, does he ban him for longer? Which I think he should have. I think, when you look at other things that have happened, like, it's a violent act in front of people. So like Ja Morant with his, I know it was gun, right? But like him waving a gun, and I know it was multiple, but like not everyone saw that. This happened live on an NBA court where kids would definitely be watching Instagram and stuff. You might just randomly come across it, but from my understanding, did it late at night, blah blah blah, of Ja Morant and stuff. So, and then you got the people that done stuff outside of the NBA court, outside of the
I just feel
off the
like
court.
the player punishment is very inconsistent.
So if you're gonna be doing stuff like that, and then obviously you mentioned about Bridges as well.
Yeah, effectively, he had a 30-game ban, and they effectively said at the time of the ban he'd already served 20 games. So they incorporated 20 games already because he had been playing because of things going through court and the rest of it. So effectively, he got an extra 10 games.
mhm.
So we're saying, okay, I'm going to contradict myself because it is difficult. So you've got a player beating his partner 30 games, and a guy repeatedly doing stuff on the court or in training facilities on 5 games. Where is the gap? I don't really know.
No, it's really bad. It's really bad. The NFL have had their problems with the wife beaters and stuff, and they're still playing in the league now, which just frustrates me. But there's been an inconsistency in the stuff that's happening, and it's a sore subject, right? Because like you say, there's someone that's been hurt physically, in Bridges' girlfriend's case, and a domestic abuse thing. He's going to get punished. Or I haven't obviously looked at the off the court stuff, but I assume there's been some sort of punishment there. And 30 games, whereas you don't say someone's multiple, like done it multiple times. They've got sort of like a catalogue of mistakes that they've made on a court or in an NBA setting, whether that's at a team practice, whether that's in game, whether that's a little sly thing in the game of kicking something. Obviously he was famous for when he shot a three to kick out, or when he was closing people down, shooting threes, he would kick it. So he'd do little sly things. I do think,
I mean, if you with Draymond, have you seen how he screens?
yeah, he's
It's not basketball.
but then the thing is, he probably would have got. I hate being this person because I obviously wasn't old enough to remember watching basketball back then, but that most of the way he plays and stuff would have like kind of been let go in the 80s and early 90s, or not everything, but like majority of it. But now it's more finesse about it, more sort of player protection, and rightly so. Like, a lot of the calls are called, but I do like the physical aspect. I do like someone that will get a bit sort of stuck in physical, but he's not even.
Yeah, but there's being physical, then there's just doing non-basketball plays. Come on.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. I do think Steve Kerr come out and even said he's got to do better as a leader and stuff like. And that's the thing. He's
Steve Kerr
33.
Steve Kerr can be quiet because he come out after that game saying that Clay was having his jersey pulled, which he was, but only after Clay was pulling McDaniel's jersey first. Like, Jesus Christ, man, have you not seen that? It's on camera. We can all see what happened.
Yeah, he's going to stick up for his player though, right? And I think
I
that
guess so. I guess so.
with Clay, with Draymond, he's come out and kind of said it how it is and called it out, because obviously he's had to. He can't defend that because there's obviously, like, they're showing that incident more than all the Clay stuff. Like obviously you saw Clay with the ripped t-shirt, but that's the only bit they really showed. They didn't show all the like. I can't remember highlights from that game, even though I watched ESPN the next day on loop. It was literally the main talk. It was the only time I remember seeing Clay is with a ripped shirt. Like that's literally all I remember seeing. It was just the whole fight thing was the main conversation the next day on NBA TV and ESPN. I don't remember the highlight, and that's the talking points he has to come out and say. And then the presser came on, and they, I watched an ESPN 2 days later, and then there was a presser with Steve Kerr, and that's when he kind of called out that Draymond needs to be better. And he is. That's the thing. If he was 23, 24, and we say, look, for the last few years he's been a bit silly with stuff, you think, okay, he's going to mature as he gets to his late 20s, early 30s. But Draymond is at that age where he's a veteran, mature.
I know, right? This is what I mean.
So that's what makes it worse. That's what makes it worse.
It does. And well, I would say that to sum up player punishment, I think the league's been soft on. I think the league was soft on Morant. I think the league's been soft on Bridges, especially Bridges. This is a guy who assaulted his partner. It's gone to court, charges are dropped, whatever.
Oh, they did get dropped. I didn't realise they got dropped. Yeah,
I think they got dropped in the end. So I don't really know what's going on with that case anymore. But surely Bridges should have been made an example of.
Yeah. No, I
we
agree.
will not accept. There's no point in having these campaigns about all these political issues and goings on in the world if, when it actually comes to stuff that's happening in the NBA with NBA players who are contracted to the NBA, they do nothing about it. So that's I'm not saying Draymond should be given a season or half a season. They're just NBA antics. So maybe 10 games. But you give him 10 games, that closes the gap to someone like Bridges' suspension. That shouldn't be the case. Draymond should get 10 games. Miles Bridges should get 2-3 years, really, for what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think a season ban would probably be the most appropriate and, without pay as well. And I assume he didn't have pay for the 30-game suspension, but I know there's been some stuff with the deals with the new collective bargaining agreement. So, but yeah, I agree. There's nothing. I wouldn't personally want a player playing for my team that's done that, and I'm glad that the Eagles don't do that in the NFL, where it's more apparent that there's sort of like young college athletes coming in and doing that. Whether they're like superstars or whether they, the superstars do come in, unfortunately, stay in the NFL. And I think that's set precedent for NBA. I think if the NFL was strict to the NBA would follow suit. MLB, they're all quite, unless like there's a kicker in the NFL that booted out for hurting his wife for the Giants, but there's running backs that play for the Cowboys, play for the players that play for and now plays for Patriots. If you play for a big market team and you're a player that's done really well in college, you're getting the opportunity, and that's set the precedent for all of American sports. Because over here you don't really see it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really see that. You had that goalkeeper that killed someone in England.
2 children.
Yeah, he killed. Was it killed the kids and the mum and the dad, or one of the parents survived and was paralyzed? And he went from a promising young. He was like early 20s, playing in the League One Championship, looking like he was going to be a good player. And then he ended up playing in a conference, or he signed for like Oxford or someone, and then they booted him out. The fans kind of like where we're not going to go. That's like
no one
biggest...
knows. Well, it's almost like a secret that Marcus Alonso got done for drink driving and almost murdered someone.
Yes, and he's the exception to the rule in football and soccer. He's the exception to the rule. Absolutely, I despise him as well. Yeah, he's the exception to the rule, but otherwise it's quite a rare thing. But unfortunately, in America, it seems to be quite apparent that there's a problem there, and a cultural problem with regards to the way that young men in America, it's all backgrounds, not just African American or not just white, Irish or white Italian or whatever. It seems to be
that's a celebrity thing, isn't it? We put celebrities, be it athletes, movie stars, musicians, they're on a pedestal, aren't they?
They are. I mean, yeah, and that's the other thing, right? I mean, look at. I mean, this is not NBA related, but like, P Diddy's been accused of stuff recently.
Yes. Oh my God. What is going on?
It's mental, right? But then it's just it's just like what is going on in this culture, and that's the problem. And the NBA is probably the most popular, second most popular sport in main Europe. Okay, so I'm not going to include cricket's probably the second biggest sport in the world because of Asia and stuff, but. And there's different cultures there, but in the culture that we live in, where it's similar to the United States and the United States culture in the Western world, NBA is probably the second most popular sport, and I think they should do more to protect and show that the people playing, if you're going to criticize Ja Morant for flashing a gun around and the reputation of the league and being, not being, Michael Bridges got to be the one, and Draymond Green's got to be a better person for what he's done. And Jordan Poole punch for me was the most unacceptable thing that he had done until, and I thought he couldn't get worse than that, and then it really go by a joke. It was just
let's also not forget what Karl Malone did back in the day.
This is true as well. Although I get it because it was like the 80s and 90s, it was hard. There was like it was kind of like
no Sam. It happened, boy.
It did,
and the NBA.
I get that, but like there's less what do you call it? It was kind of like it wasn't exposure about it, right? So there wasn't social media stuff to talk. It was kind of like he obviously paid the child support, kept it quiet after the initial allegations of stories, and social media makes stories like rumble forward, right? So I think this happened now, he would, whereas back then it was kind of like story for a couple of days, let's forget about it. Again, I know this is an NBA podcast, but Beckham's red card was, when you watch that documentary again, you think about it, that was a big story that continued. Michael Jordan retiring and coming back, his dad dying, big stories. But again, it would have been even bigger in today's world. And that was proven by The Last Dance coming out, how big the stories, and it rolled forward. So I think different era.
Sam, we've gone down a massive rabbit hole here. We need to move on to X and O's before we get even too deep into this
This
rabbit hole.
Yeah,
and
go on.
We want to talk about the Bulls and what that's going on there, but we'll maybe save that for next week. I got some good X and O's as well, a couple of good X and O's, but we'll try and keep it quick fire. So
okay,
number one, Samuel, LeBron James wants to win the inaugural in-season tournament so he can say done it before retiring in case the tournament takes off.
Yeah, I've seen it on. I've seen the. Yeah, I think he does. I've seen him be positive about the tournament. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, X.
No,
X.
you're O, aren't you? You're retired.
No, listen. Sorry. Do I think he's going to win it? X. Oh, that he does want to win it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So he wants.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He wants to win it, but no, he's not going
to. Number 2, Orlando Magic will be a top 6 seed in East.
That is a good one. I mean, the first question was good as well because this one's tougher. Like I said, that was easy. The last one, it was yes, he does. Don't think he is. This one's a lot harder. This is where the Bulls come into play. So the Chicago Bulls, if it depends what moves they make.
Sam, X or O? Come on, man. We haven't got all day.
This is a good one. O.
Okay, great.
You can't ask hard ones and expect me to answer them in 2 seconds.
So you think that stuff, player punishments and celebrities and whatnot? I'm also good with that. Number 3, Draymond Green will be ejected from 8 or more games in the rest of the regular season.
X, he won't. He'll be good now.
We'll see. Number 4, regular season theme here. Phoenix Suns Big 3 will play less than 15 games together in the regular season due to health and load management.
That no, X, they will play more than that together.
Yeah, okay. So 20, 25?
Yeah, I think you're looking in the mid-20s, definitely. They need to get the gelling together to be ready for the playoffs and stuff, and obviously they want to be a top 2 or 3 seed, so they need to play more.
And last but not least, you're probably thinking, let's squeeze the Sixers relevant X and O. The Washington Wizards will make NBA history for the worst 82 game regular season record, which is currently held by your Philadelphia Sixers with
No,
9-73.
X. That won't happen. They might match the one from
Because
a few years back, but not our original, not our 9-1. No.
So no one will ever be as bad as the 76ers in 1973.
No,
If you're looking for the recent one, it was Charlotte, but it was a reduced season.
I was about to say, I'm sure there's another. I was just about to Google because I can't remember.
I fact checked that before, and when I saw it was the Sixers, I did have a little chuckle to myself.
Yeah, because that was pre sort of tank era. So, I mean, we tried our best to beat it a few years ago, and then Adam Silver steps in. Hence why he gets the nickname Dave Silver.
Because don't forget the process started in 1974, didn't it? So,
well, exactly. Well, we won a championship in '83, so it must have worked.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I've had a photo with it, so I've got the proof as well. Yeah. Well, you can't expect. I just need to put it out there. There were some X and O's that were quick, and when you ask a more difficult one, unless you say you have to answer it, unless we make a new rule going forward, you have to answer it in 10 seconds.
Or we need less X and O's because we ramble on so much on the topics.
We do, but it's because we're passionate about them.
It is, and I'll give you the benefit of the doubt this week because of the technical issues. So I'll let you off for rambling on.
Okay.
As much as you do.
Wow.
Are we done?
We are done. So we will call it there since we don't get to another argument on the LeBron argument. We agreed on the domestic abuse and the stuff there, and then we disagreed on the X and O's because I took too long. So it was 2-1. So let's call it there. Well, if anyone made it this far and thought these guys argue way too much, we appreciate it. Or these two know absolutely nothing. Again, we still appreciate it because you've watched all the way through or listened all the way through.
You've watched it,
yeah. So the downloads are coming. So please keep liking, subscribing on YouTube, and liking and leaving reviews on the App Store or the Spotify or the Google Play Store, wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah, and let's just want to add, please engage with us on X. We are now got a new home, new logo, new look, and the account is with the English 1. We are
one. It's the one and
number
only.
one.
No other with the English. It's just us.
There are no other podcasts called With the English.